teacher whose school is out Fridays asked me to say Thursdays are epic. Welcome to our penultimate program of 2014. It starts with news concerning Cuba. Yesterday, President Obama announced a major change in relations between the U.S. and Cuba. The U.S. government is reopening its embassy in the communist country. It's allowing travel and trade that's been banned since President Kennedy was in office. The two nations have been at odds since 1959, when communists overthrew the island's government and took control. During the Cold War, the rivalry between the U.S. and Soviet Union, Cuba was an ally of the Soviet Union, at one point allowing nuclear missiles to be installed as a threat to the U.S. In an effort to punish Cuba, the U.S. put an embargo in place, a ban on trade with Cuba. U.S. officials hoped that isolating the country would influence its government to turn from communism and give its people more freedom. President Obama says that didn't work.
I believe that we can do more to support the Cuban people and promote our values through engagement. After all, these 50 years have shown that isolation has not worked. It's time for a new approach.
Part of that approach involved an exchange of prisoners. The U.S. sent 3 convicted Cuban spies back to their home country. Cuba sent home a U.S. intelligence agent. Also, Cuba freed Alan Gross, a 65-year-old American. He'd served 5 years in a Cuban prison for delivering phone equipment that could access the internet. Cuba's government restricts internet use. President Obama's shift in policy was made without congressional approval. Critics call it illegal and say that the U.S. gave up everything and gained little.
This entire policy shift announced today is based on an illusion, on a lie. The lie and the illusion that more commerce and access to money and goods will translate to political freedom for the Cuban people.
Analysts are calling it a loss for Americans' freedom of expression. The release of a comedic film critical of North Korea has been postponed, and it's all because of anonymous hackers. There was a cyber attack at Sony Pictures. It shut down computers. It exposed all kinds of private information about employees, actors, and business. Then, on Tuesday, a hacker group threatened any theaters planning to show the film. Major chains canceled screenings, and Sony pulled the movie. It says it stands by its filmmakers and their right to free expression, and that it's extremely disappointed by this outcome.
Hackers claiming to be the same group that stolen data from Sony Pictures took a potentially violent turn towards terrorism. Along with a document dump that's described as a Christmas gift, a group delivered a warning to people planning to see the movie, The Interview. The film is about 2 hapless journalists recruited by the CIA to kill the leader of North Korea, Kim Jong-un. The film has infuriated Pyongyang, Kim Jong-un's government calling it an act of war.
They're denying that they are directly involved. We all suspect they were.
The movie is a comedy, but after this message, no one's laughing. It says soon all the world will see what an awful movie Sony Pictures Entertainment has made. The world will be full of fear. Remember the 11th of September 2001. The Department of Homeland Security says it's aware of the threat, but hasn't found evidence of an active plot within the United States.
We don't have any credible threat specifically of any violence or anything. I would encourage people to continue enjoying their lives, going out shopping, doing everything else.
Still, the stars reportedly stopped media appearances, and Thursday's premiere in New York has been canceled. All this as federal investigators scrub Sony's computers to try to figure out where this threat of a bitter fate came from.
See if you can ID me. I'm one of the places where the Earth's axis intersects its surface. My latitude is 90 degrees north and my longitude is all of them. Despite popular belief, magnetic compasses do not point directly to me. I'm the North Pole and I'm in the middle of the Arctic Ocean. The North Pole gets a lot of attention this time of year, but who owns it? In what country does Santa live? Denmark's making an argument it's on Danish land. The country says because the North Pole is connected to the continental shelf of Greenland, and because Greenland is a Danish autonomous territory, the North Pole is Denmark's. This goes against Russia's claim to the pole. A Russian submarine planted a titanium flag underneath it in 2007, and that made Canada angry because it claims the North Pole. Why are different countries arguing over this? Well, a U.S. Geological Survey report says the region's rich in undiscovered natural resources, including a lot of oil. Arctic countries have agreed to let the United Nations decide whose land or whose territory this is that would give them certain rights over parts of the Arctic. So Denmark's joining Russia, Canada, and the US in staking its claim. 3 roll call requests from yesterday's transcript page. It's at cnnstudentnews.com. We're starting on Lake Michigan. In the port city of Kenosha, Wisconsin, the Red Devils of Bradford High School are on the roll. Next to Hazen. It's a city in Arkansas, the natural state, and it's home to the Hornets of Hazen High School. And we'll round things out in Orange City, Iowa. It's nighttime. Great to have you watching at Unity Christian High School. Picture an empty room, nothing in it but you. No book, no laptop, no phone. Nothing but a 9-volt battery that would shock you if you touched it. A study published this summer challenged people to just sit and think, but many of them, including a majority of the men, couldn't go 6 to 12 minutes without touching the battery. Does the allure of distraction shock you?
We've all been there, hanging out with some of your friends, and all of a sudden you look around and realize nobody's looking at you. In fact, they're all staring straight down, completely and totally engrossed in their cell phone. Honestly, it's hard to blame them. The allure of the online world is growing. Can we still be productive in this digital age, or is Candy Crush rotting our brain? If there's anybody that knows everything about these digital distractions, it's Manoush Semarodi.
I think we're living in an amazing moment in time when everything in our lives is changing.
Since I've been in your office, I probably checked my phone probably like 200 times. I'm always also looking to find information.
And do you ever feel like satisfied? Do you ever feel like, wow, I got to everything?
No, you don't get to everything. You're always either updating or downloading information. You're always trying to consume as much as possible.
I think we are coming into an era where self-discipline is going to be more important than it ever has. As a working mom, I like the fact that I can work where and whenever I want. But at the same time, we can't treat everything the same just because our gadgets let us do that. Okay, so how are you sleeping?
I sleep well.
No problem?
I put my phone at least like an arm's distance away.
Here's the deal. Your phone is emitting blue light. When you get a shot of blue light into your eyes, it's like your eyeballs did a shot of espresso. So for me, I'm trying to not have any screens an hour before I sleep.
I'm sitting in the West Village, walking out of my apartment. Take me through a way to unravel from the virtual cord that is attaching me to my digital device.
Okay, so first thing is, just turn it off. 1 hour.
That's a lot of emails.
Look what just happened though. You went into that bookstore and you were browsing. You ran into that girl who you used to know. You've been meaning to get together with her for so long. Why don't you do it now? Oh my God, something spontaneous
But where are we
happened.
gonna go? Because I have no idea what place to eat.
She's gonna take you to this adorable cafe. It's not on Yelp. And look, you got a cappuccino and your foam looks like a flower.
But I don't even know what kind of flower it is.
You're just gonna drink it.
I really appreciate you helping me out with these digital distractions because they're everywhere. And like taking me through that journey, that was fantastic.
I'm glad this show is produced before you see it. If my mom were to call during a taping, which she has done, I could just tell her, politely and with respect of course, that it's not a good time and just call her back. That's not how it works on live TV. These two brothers are on opposite sides of politics. One's a determined Democrat, the other's a resolute Republican. They were in the middle of an on-air political battle, trading points, going after one another's party, and in the middle of it all, the anchor took a viewer phone call. Guess who it was?
I was very glad that this Thanksgiving was a year that you two were supposed to go to your in-laws, and I'm hoping you'll have some of this out of your system when you come here for Christmas.
She ended the call by saying she just wants peace at home for Christmas and that she loves them both. Motherly love, encouraging brotherly love can be tough love, but she's dialed into their needs. Her line's open to both of them. She made the right call, and hopefully they won't get hung up on politics under the Christmas tree. CNN Student News returns tomorrow for our last show of the year.